Welcome to race number 20 of 29 here in the 1991 throwbacks, and we are finally in the final third of this season. The Super Speedway Madness is over, and we are now heading to the short track run to end the season. As we're winding the season down, it looks like it's pretty much going to be between these top four guys. Wallace, Kulwicki, Martin, and Earnhardt have been head and shoulders above everybody for this season, with everyone else either being too inconsistent or just not good enough to run up front on a regular basis. Last week, Tim Richmond ended up taking the victory at Michigan in a hard-fought battle with his teammate, Ken Schrader. And now we are going to NASCAR's version of the bullring. We're going to Bristol Motor Speedway, the 36-degree banked half-mile oval. And we're sure to be treated to more amazing battles today. Yep, it's the Bristol night race, the Busch 500. And Ricky Rudd continues to try to assert dominance on the short tracks. He is going to qualify on the pole for today's race. Man, is that no surprise. Bristol's such a difficult track. Anyway, so our top 10 is going to be Ricky Rudd on pole, Bill Elliott in second. We've got Tim Richmond third, Alan Kulwicki fourth, Phil Parsons fifth, Darrell Waltrip sixth, Davey Allison seventh, Mark Martin eighth. We have Jeff Bodine in ninth, and Dale Earnhardt rounding out the top 10. Rusty Wallace is going to be starting as far back as 13th. So that'll be interesting. Here's the command for today's race.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
And here we go. All 42 cars lined up are going to come here. A very short warm-up lap, halfway around this half-mile oval. And the green flag is out here from Bristol. What is almost surely going to be a crazy, crazy race here at the half-mile oval. Looks like Ricky Rudd, he's going to take a quick advantage early on. Tim Richmond, he's going to move into second. Bill Parsons is going to try to take third early on here. It depends on the grip that Elliott has. Elliott's still falling back. Looks like Davey Allison is going to take the fourth position away. Elliott continues to fall back. Jimmy Spencer is already working his way into the top 10. And that's the thing about these short tracks, is that it almost always seems like anything can happen here, and we always see one or two drivers that you don't typically see up front work their way through the field in this conventional, but at the same time non-conventional type of race here at Bristol. And you can see Spencer working his way. That'll be the fifth position that Jimmy Spencer's worked his way into. Points leader, Rusty Wallace, he now is in the sixth position. You can see Sterling Marlin working his way into seventh here. So there we go. It looks like Kyle Petty, looks like eighth position is going to be good for him. It's going to be ninth for Ernie Irvin, and we'll see if Jeff Bodine will be able to squeeze down in front of Mast here for 10th. I don't know if that's going to happen. Seems like it's going to be bottom or bust the entire night here at Bristol. And Rick Mast is going to take the 10th position. So yeah, bottom or bust the entire night here at Bristol. No doubt what the dominant line is going to be here. Davey Allison looking to the inside of Phil Parsons. Can't get the job done. Rusty Wallace looking to the inside of Jimmy Spencer. Looks like he got a good run. Is he able to make the move here? Not in this turn, but Davey Allison looks like he was able to get around Phil Parsons with relative ease. Wallace still trying to find a way around that 98 car. Parsons trying to cut off Spencer there. That just did not work out for him. And Mr. Excitement's going to be able to grab another position here. That'll move Jimmy Spencer up to 4th. So Spencer's 98 car, that seems to be a very, very fast car today. They're doing a great job there with that 98 team. You're 5th fastest on the leaderboard too, so it is absolutely backed up by the speed charts. Meanwhile, the 3 leaders here, Ricky Rudd, Tim Richmond, and Davey Allison, they seem to have spaced each other out from everyone else. You can see here a battle for 10th going on between Rick Mast and Jeff Bodine, but potentially Ken Schrader and Alan Kulwicki are going to be right there. They are right there. And then you have Mark Martin. Kulwicki and Martin being outside of the top 10 right now is huge. And another huge thing, Dale Earnhardt right now looks like he's about to be ejected outside of the top 20. So that is not going to be a good day for Earnhardt if he continues to fall back like that. It's going to be a dismal day for points for Earnhardt. Meanwhile, one of our rookies, Wally Dallenbach Jr., he's currently enjoying the top 20. Same with Bobby Hamilton. Both of them having great runs. Here we go. We've got Alan Kulwicki getting around Ken Schrader. Mark Martin looking to try to do much of the same here. Looks like Rusty Wallace was able to get around Jimmy Spencer there. Spencer able to get back down low. Meanwhile, we've got this 4-car freight train roughly for the 6th position. Got Phil Parsons in 6th, Kyle Petty in 7th, Ernie Irvin in 8th, Sterling Marlin in 9th. And it looks like Ricky Rudd's going to start creeping up on some lap traffic here shortly, only within the next few laps or so. So lap traffic is going to become a little bit of a concern here. We'll see how things continue. Ernie Irvin looking for a way around Kyle Petty here. He's really trying. Well, right now, these 4 guys, they're not budging here because they know if they make a move too soon, the other guy right behind them can go ahead and make a move and pick them off for the next position, and then they'll be stuck on that outside lane, and it's not going to be a good ride on that outside lane. So passing at a little bit of a premium right now, especially when there's those freight trains coming up. Jeff Bodine getting into the top 10. That'll be Kulwicki for 11th. Mark Martin a little bit further back. He's still stuck behind Ken Schrader. Elliott stuck behind the 2 of them. How has lap traffic changed things? Well, Ricky Rudd is slicing and dicing through the lap traffic like it's butter. He's having absolutely no issues with it. Meanwhile, Tim Richmond's got to take Gibbs and Smith 3 wide. He's able to get around there. A very tight fit there for Richmond. Allison, now he's got to try to find a way through this lap traffic, or he's going to have problems in terms of the points leader, who is currently in 4th place there, Rusty Wallace. Wallace is coming really fast, too. He's really got to put some passes on here and try to distance himself away from that 2 car. That 2 car is a very rapid piece of machinery tonight. And fastest car in the field right now is pretty undisputably Ricky Rudd. He has walked away from everybody here. Although the lap traffic has brought the gap down significantly between Rudd and Richmond here. You can see Rudd, he's working his way through the last bit of the really heavy, slow lap traffic there. Getting around Lake Speed. That'll put Lake Speed 2 laps down, I'm pretty sure. And getting around, and then Richmond now getting around him. So the gap shrunk here to about a half a second, but the lap traffic is really thin on this side of the speedway. So once they're able to get around the 19 to Chad Little, it's actually going to be a while before... It's going to be another good 4 or 5 laps before they end up catching the next batch of lap traffic. And undisputably, you know, Ricky Rudd's got the faster car here. He's got the car to kill. He's absolutely got the car to kill here. So there they go. Like I said, it's going to be another few laps before they end up catching more lap traffic. Meanwhile, going deeper into the field, it looks like that Spencer and Wallace were able to both get around Davey Allison. So Jimmy Spencer back into 4th, but Allison's not going to let Spencer have that position very easily. Spencer's going to roll back to the 5th position. Allison right back to the bumper of Rusty Wallace. Some lap traffic getting in the way. We'll see if Allison tries to make any sort of crazy moves here. Will Eddie Bierschwale or Lake Speed make any openings for him to try to go for? Doesn't quite look like there's going to be anything for Allison to offer at here. Meanwhile, these guys are still jockeying for position. Phil Parsons is just holding on to 6th with a death grip right now. Trying to navigate around all this lap traffic. He's really holding on to that with a death grip. That's the best way to describe it right now. Of course, Alan Kulwicki, he's made his way into the top 10. Who has not made his way into the top 10 yet? Mark Martin. He's still stuck in 13th. And we've also got Dale Earnhardt, who is stuck in the 23rd position right now. Not necessarily a strong spirit there. And here we go, more lap traffic here. Ricky Rudd's trying to work his way through here. He's got Michael Waltrip and Harry Gant in front of him. Yeah, there's just so little room here to work with at Bristol. It is such a very, very tight track. High banks. The car is typically very, very tight. It's such a hard track to set up for, too. Every single little thing about this track will test your patience. And it looks like that lap traffic's going to put a big gap between Rudd and Richmond for now. So we'll go ahead and leave this, because that's not the good battle. Right now, the good battle is for 3rd. Rusty Wallace and Davey Allison. And they are right there, too. Should be noticed that Phil Parsons actually ended up getting kicked out back here, and now Alan Kulwicki's worked his way all the way up to 7th, and he's trying to get his way up to 6th here. Alan's such a good driver here at the Bristol Raceway. There's no doubt about that. Alan Kulwicki, he's probably been the best driver of the past 2 years. It's really hard to say that. He's got more wins than any other driver in the past 2 years, which is insane to think about. That's just utterly insane to think about. Only Wallace is even in his ballpark. And this is a track he typically really excels at, and he's looking for another strong finish here at Bristol, trying to strengthen his championship hopes. I don't think it's going to happen today because Wallace is just looking really good. Mark Martin has just cracked the top 10. So the championship contenders are slowly but surely lurking forward, except for Dale Earnhardt, since he's still really struggling back there. Wallace has really started to pull away from Davey Allison. This is starting to look really good for Allison being in the 3rd spot. Allison being in the 4th spot, rather. Rudd has now pulled out to a 2-second lead over Tim Richmond. So Ricky Rudd, he's pulling away. It looks like he's going to go to another dominating Bristol victory. No surprise there. Ricky Rudd's just great at every single short track that we go to. And now we've got more lap traffic, and that gap is going to close right back up between Wallace and Allison. This is one of the more frustrating things about Bristol, is that you finally get to a little bit of a gap, and then the lap traffic happens again. You're able to get that nice bit of a lead, that nice cushion. You're trying to get around lap traffic, and then suddenly 1 lap later, all that lead that you just made up is gone. And boy, Gant's not working with Rusty Wallace here either. I'm not sure what Davey Allison is trying to do back there. I saw him run the top lane around turns 1 and 2. We've already established the top lane's not exactly the place that you want to be at this track. So I don't know if Allison is starting to lose the car or what's going on with the 28, but they're definitely not taking the best line to be taken around this track right now. Jeff Bodine's gotten shuffled outside of the top 10. Bill Elliott's come in. Let's see here the battle for 8th. Kyle Petty trying to hold on to 8th. Mark Martin looking for it. You've got Bill Elliott in 10th. Jeff Bodine in 11th. That might have been the slip-up Elliott needed, but Elliott couldn't capitalize. Martin's just trying to get there. I don't think Martin's going to be able to. Well, Elliott's gotten there, but he can't capitalize again. Didn't have a strong enough run. Unable to get there. Oh, we are 50 laps into this 125 lap event. Ricky Rudd has led them all, and he has been cruising, to say the least, here at the front of the field. He's got about a 3-second advantage over Tim Richmond, who himself has about a 2.5-second advantage on Davey Allison. And then Rusty Wallace is right there in 4th. And then we have Jimmy Spencer in 5th, and now we have Mark Martin. That will move him up to 8th. We have Sterling Marlin 6th, Alan Kulwicki 7th, Mark Martin 8th. Bill Elliott will now move into 9th, and it looks like Jeff Bodine is going to take away the 10th position. And I got to give my credit to this 98 team and Jimmy Spencer. They brought a bad, fast car here to Bristol, and they are racing the wheels off of it. We've got Mr. Excitement here, Jimmy Spencer from Berwick, Pennsylvania. And he, like I said, he is right here, and he is trying his best to just put up a top 5 finish today, which will be a big statement. This team actually hasn't had a top 10 all season long, if you can believe that or not. No finishes in the top 10. I think that's just absolutely mind-blowing, if you ask me, that Jimmy Spencer hasn't had a top 10 yet, because there have been a lot of teams that aren't as good as the 98 and are actually lower in points than the 98 that have actually gotten top 10s. One of them, infamously, Richard Petty getting career win number 199 at Talladega this year. So, hats off to the king. So we look back up. Davey Allison was able to take the 3rd position away from Rusty Wallace. Those guys have been swapping the 3rd position back and forth for a little bit now. Allison had it, then Wallace took it, and then Allison took it back. I would talk about the battle to the lead, but there's really nothing to highlight there, and it looks like we're going to have another pass for 3rd. Wallace, there he goes. He's just going to go right around the 28. Allison's not going to try to fight him. Here we take a look at the 2nd place driver. This is Tim Richmond. He's about 2.5 seconds behind Ricky Rudd, your leader, And man, Ricky Rudd's just looks strong. I know that Buick and Oldsmobile, they haven't necessarily been the cars. But Oldsmobile brought some wicked fast cars to a couple of races this season. And that is, which is just insane to me. And then you have Ricky Rudd, who has just done an amazing job. Oh, whoa! Oh, contact between Brett Bodine and Ricky Rudd. I thought Bodine was just going to dump the leader of the race. Good Lord. Pit stops are now happening. You can see Darrell Waltrip coming down pit road. We have been caution-free at Bristol to this point, something that usually isn't the case. It's honestly a pretty surprising thing to hear that we're having a caution-free race so far at Bristol. This is typically a messy one, but I guess that it is a welcome sign. I guess you can say that, hey, we are having a clean Bristol race. I'm just trying to figure out who the leader of the race is so I can tell you who has 5 bonus points and who doesn't. Ken Schrader pitting on the backstretch. It can't be that Ricky Rudd's had the lead of the race the whole time. That'd be phenomenal if that's actually the case. No, Alan Kulwicki led that lap. And the caution flag is out. Yellow flag out. Whoa. How are they going to score this one? It's going to be really interesting to see how they score this. Meanwhile, let's go to why they brought out the yellow flag. Here's the reason why. Jeff Purvis gets into Chad Little, backs it into the wall. Keeps it going. Now, the question's got to be, how are they scoring this? Well, taking a look at the pylon right now, it says that the 55 of Ted Musgrave is the leader of this race. I can't see that being true. Wait for the scoring pylons to update here. It looks like, yes, that is indeed how they're scoring it. And that's because the 55 had not pit yet. Oh, there you go. I was thinking for a second, why is Ted Musgrave leading this race when he is not leading this race? And yeah, he was not leading this race. So now the better question is, who's leading this race? And I believe it's going to end up being the 25 of Tim Richmond that is going to be your leader. Once everything ends up cycling through here. We're going to have a lot of cars that are on the tail end of the lead lap, as you would figure for a yellow flag is the timing such as that one. Looks like it's going to be 16th on back. Or no, they're just going to let them go up to the front here. All right, so here we go. We're apparently going green here. I don't know if everyone is fully situated or whatnot. We still got some cars trying to catch back up. I guess this is why the pace speed's only 35 miles an hour around this track. Here we go. That'll take care of our one pit stop on the day. Pace car comes down, and the green flag is going to be out. Tim Richmond is your leader. Ricky Rudd second. Rusty Wallace third. We have Davey Ellison fourth and Jimmy Spencer in fifth. Richmond trying to jump out to a lead. Can he get out? Looks like he got out. Oh, that's huge. 22 comes down to pit road. Sterling Marlin has an issue on the restart. Tim Richmond trying to go for 2 in a row here has just gotten a little bit of luck go his way. He's the leader on the restart. He jumps out in front of everybody, and there is no one around him to contest his position for the time being. So although that Tim Richmond might be getting a little bit of luck right now, Rusty Wallace is getting a little luck of his own. He just got around Ricky Rudd. That'll put him into position number 2, which is awesome considering that he's the points leader and he's really got to pull away here. Mark Martin is trapped 17th, 1 lap down. Dale Earnhardt trapped 22nd, also 1 lap down. He just has the Alan Kulwicki car, the number 7. He is currently being scored in the 8th position, but it looks like he's about to take 7th away from Jeff Bodine. And if he can get there, he's probably going to take 6th away from Davey Allison as well. Looks like that's exactly what is going to happen here. He's already picked off Jeff Bodine, and he just got around to picking off Davey Allison. The next car he's got to pass is the number 4, Vernie Irvin, who is quite a bit of a few cars up here. And he's got to keep that 11 of Jeff Bodine behind him. Right now, I don't think Alan Kulwicki can go up there and contend for the win. I don't think he's got the car to do it. But in order to keep in some sort of competitive points here with Rusty Wallace, he's got to keep the 11 behind him. And it doesn't look like that's going to be able to happen. Jeff Bodine gets down to the inside. He's going to get around Kulwicki. And I'm going to guess that Davey Allison's going to be right there to get around Kulwicki as well. And Allen falls right back to 8th. 8th might be just the ceiling that Kulwicki is able to finish. So Kulwicki really doesn't control his own destiny right now. This is all about Rusty Wallace and what he can do here. And we'll see what Ricky Rudd's able to do, and it looks like that. And I got to tell you what, Jimmy Spencer is still in the top 5. He's been in the top 5 all night long, and he just got passed by Ernie Irvin, which, yeah, it's Ernie Irvin, but Jimmy Spencer has just had a bad, fast car. They've done a fantastic job with this 98 machine. This is going to give this team a lot of confidence going forward. I'll tell you what, these guys are doing a fantastic job. They haven't had the season that they were hoping for with that 98 crew, but I can tell you what, these guys are going to get a lot of confidence from this, and I think they're going to do better going forward. This has been a fantastic, just a phenomenal race from these guys. Right now, the race is pretty much solely for the second position. Leader Tim Richmond is way ahead of this pack. You can see Mark Martin, he's the first driver, 1 lap down. He's in the 14th position. He's desperately racing for points, trying to stay in the points battle. But with Rusty Wallace being in second, it's going to be another really big loss. And really, after this race, the only person that's really going to be in striking distance of taking this championship away from Rusty is going to be Alan Kulwicki. Yeah, and he's the defending points champion, so that's definitely nothing to sneeze at. Alan Kulwicki, he's right there. Yeah, he's right there in points, but he's going to fall further back. He was within triple digits and then not within triple digits, and he's been right on the cusp of 100 for the past couple of races. And after this race, he's going to drop to like 130, 140. And that's just not going to be good for Alan Kulwicki trying to chase down Rusty Wallace here. 40 laps to go. What you're watching is the battle for second. Rusty Wallace in the dark, number 2. We have Ricky Rudd in the green, number 3. Rudd dominated the early portion of this race until the first round of pit stops. And then an untimely caution came out. Jeff Purvis backed it into the outside wall in turn number 1. Tim Richmond was awarded the lead after that. And ever since then, Tim Richmond got the excellent jump off the restart, and it's been all Richmond since then. He's the one that's way out in front here, but also lap traffic is just now starting to become a factor. We have a very hungry Mark Martin here trying to get around the 25 as well. So we'll see. I don't think that Richmond is the fastest car on the track, but we'll just have to see how this goes, how lap traffic ends up being communicated here with the 25. Man, Wally Dallenbach was having such a good race early on, and here he is 4 laps down in the 42nd position. I thought he was going to have a top 20 secured, and it just has not been the case for that Junie Don Levy racing team. Martin still trying to find a way around Richmond. Gets to his bumper again. Don't think it's going to be enough. Oh, he got him. He's got to have him here soon. He's right there. Here's Dale Jarrett on the outside. Also not necessarily having a good night. So leaders caught lap traffic. This is really going to be the shot for Rusty Wallace. And here we go now. Ernie Irvin's going to get around Ricky Rudd. And Irvin right on the back of the deuce. Where in the world is Irvin turning this on from? Yeah, Irvin's just gone on fire in these last few laps. I don't know where he has come from, but he is now right on the back of the 2 car. He's going to go down to the inside. He's trying to make a pass on Wallace, but it's so hard to keep your momentum going on. That top line has that 36 degrees of banking downhill to try to help the car along. And there we go. Irvin's gotten around. Irvin to 2nd place. Jeff Bodine to 3rd. And Jeff Bodine has walked into the 3rd position. He's the winner of this race last year. Here we go. Ricky Rudd is in 4th, and I'll tell you what, this is exactly what Alan Kulwicki needs. This is exactly what Alan Kulwicki needed. Just a little bit of bad luck for Rusty Wallace to run into. He's undoubtedly one of the fastest cars on the track, but he's stuck high-strung on the outside lane. Here comes Kulwicki down to the inside, and he's going to take the position away from Wallace. And Wallace continues his free fall. And it looks like his free fall is going to end here. That is exactly what Alan Kulwicki needed. Now there goes all of that really heavy lap traffic. Where's Tim Richmond in all of this? He's gone. Yeah, he's already a few cars into the next round of lap traffic. And there goes Mark Martin trying to unlap himself. That's going to be huge if we end up getting another caution in this race, but this has been a pretty clean race so far. It's been a very clean race to this point. Jeff Bodine takes the 2nd position away. I think things are getting a little too chaotic for that 2nd position in order for them to come and run down Tim Richmond. Good Lord. Bodine has moved into the 2nd position. Rudd to 3rd. Allison 4th. Irvin is in 5th. But I don't think he's done yet. I don't think he's done falling. Oh, Kulwicki made a mistake. Kulwicki drives it too hard into the corner. Rusty Wallace gets around him. Kulwicki did not need to do that mistake. As long as he stays in the vicinity of that 2 car, I think he'll be all right. He can't manage to have another bad day in relative to Rusty Wallace, though. Well, I swear, the luck, the rabbit's foot that Alan Kulwicki has sometimes, I want to have some of his luck. Because it's been unbelievable at some points. Yeah, the stuff's just gone Kulwicki's way more often than not in these past 2 seasons. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and what's Alan Kulwicki been? Lucky. Coming down to 20 laps to go. Tim Richmond is in the lead by 1.5 seconds. Lots of lap traffic ahead, but it looks like that they're kind of just bending over backwards for Jeff Bodine. Not really wanting to give Bodine any sort of hurt here. Tim Richmond comes down to pit road. There's going to be another round of pit stops coming up here. Oh, boy. Another round of pit stops. I thought we were going to be done with them. There's another round of pit stops coming. Jeff Bodine is in the lead. 20 laps to go. Oh, we are setting up for one crazy, crazy finish here from Bristol. Bodine still staying out along with Ricky Rudd. Looks like Rusty Wallace and Alan Kulwicki, they're both staying out as well. It's gonna be crazy. Oh man, this is gonna be crazy, folks. When is everyone else gonna pit now? Are they going to pit? Now that's an even more pertinent question. And will it be enough? Well, the people that did pit, will they have enough tires to be able to run down the people that didn't? I don't think there's enough time to do this. Oh, you got to make up 2 laps. You got to make up 2 laps around this track, and that is just something that is not easy to do. And I don't care what kind of tires you have compared to the leaders. It's just not an easy thing to make up 2 laps around this track. Well, we'll see what ends up happening. Some diverging strategies going on. 14 laps to go. Jeff Bodine is in the lead by about a second over Ricky Rudd. We have Rusty Wallace somehow back in 3rd. Ernie Irvin in 4th. Then we have Jimmy Spencer is precariously in the 5th position. That just got taken by Alan Kulwicki. So Alan Kulwicki 5th. It'll be Spencer 6th. Morgan Shepherd 7th. Neil Bonnet in his final trip to Bristol is running 8th. Larry Pearson is running 9th. And Mark Martin is somehow running in 10th. And he's the last car in the lead lap. Some people trying to pull a strategy. I don't know what exactly happened there, but a lot of people pitted with 20 laps to go. I'm guessing the strategy was run everyone out with new tires, but this is a half a mile track. This isn't a mile and a half track like in Atlanta where you can go ahead and use your new tires to your advantage. No, you can't do that here. I'm really questioning the strategy of what happened here. Well, right now, Jeff Bodine, he's set up to win here at Bristol. He's got a 2-second advantage now over Ricky Rudd. Rudd's just been going slower. Bodine is just putting on a clinic right now. He's just doing exactly what he needs to do to win this race. Jeff Bodine, he's looking for win number 2 on the season. Remember back to last year, he led in points for a couple of races, but didn't really have any wins to back it up. This year, he's just had a miserable, miserable summer stretch where he only had a couple of top 10 finishes, and that was really it. He slid way back in points, but a win here at Bristol is definitely going to restore some confidence back into this team. Something that they really need going forward. As you got to figure that Jeff Bodine, he's going to be a free agent. Only a handful of laps to go now. Just 5 laps. 5 laps to go for Jeff Bodine. He's got to keep it clean through the lap traffic now. He can't mess up here. Oh, man, he is in the masses. Ernie Irvin got around Rusty Wallace, so that's going to be huge. Championship implications on that one. As we just watch and wait. Jeff Bodine has been given the 3 to go now. He's strung on the outside lane. Bodine's got to be able to make it here. Outside lane is so much slower. 2 laps to go. I don't think it's going to be slow enough for Ricky Rudd to catch him, though. He's got that massive buffer. He's just got to focus on not wrecking the car, and he's going to be all good. Here we go. Ricky Rudd enters the frame. White flag. 1 lap to go. Jeff Bodine's able to get to the bottom, and that should seal it. Jeff Bodine. So this is going to be his last season in the number 11, but he is going to win here at Bristol. Jeff Bodine with win number 2 here in 1991. And Rusty Wallace was able to get back around Irvin. Alan Kulwicki somehow able to muscle out a 5th. Jimmy Spencer with his first top 10 of the season with a 7th. And I just don't know. What a crazy, crazy finish. I thought that Tim Richmond was going to have it. But a ton of cars ended up pitting with 20 laps to go. I don't know if they ended up taking the wrong amount of fuel or what ended up happening on their pit stops. But there was a wrong strategy called. And Jeff Bodine just in the right place at the right time to take the checkered flag here for the Busch 500. And we can see how the points are affected by that. Jeff Bodine's second win of the season. That'll end up making him leapfrog a position here. And right here at the top of the points, it's looking really bad for Earnhardt to try to compete now. It's going to really be between Wallace and Kulwicki with an outside chance of Mark Martin trying to get his stuff in. It's just going to be really, really, really close between Wallace and Kulwicki. If Kulwicki's going to be in it, I think Wallace needs to DNF one more time this season, but we're going to have to see what happens. There's going to be a track that's going to happen at. This is one of them that can happen. It's the crown jewel race of the season and the final of them. We are going to Darlington for the Heinz Southern 500. We will see you next time.